Hey, Social Psych. So I wanted to record a short video for you, talk a little bit about the section in compliance called Ingratiation, which is when you act in a particular way in order to get someone to like you. Because when someone likes you, they're more willing to do what you ask. And this is super sketchy. It is really slimy. You're going to need to take a shower after you read that lecture narrative that I have in there. It's just really kind of manipulative because you're trying to get somebody to like you so that they will do what you ask. And this is your academic great-grandfather, right? We have family lineage, just like you guys do in your Greek organizations or in your sports teams. So for the purposes of this discussion, I'm your mother, which is really kind of weird. My advisor, you've heard me talk about him before, was Baumeister. So that's your dad. Or I'm sorry, that's your grandpa, Grandpa Roy. Well, Ned Jones, E.E. Jones, was Baumeister's advisor. And so he's your great-grandfather. And it was Jones who did all the work on ingratiation and also the work on correspondent inference, which we're going to get to in the attribution chapter. So acting in a particular way to get someone to like you. Flattery is one of the strategies. And again, this is all in your lecture narrative. When you say nice things to someone like, oh, that dress makes you look fantastic. Whenever someone uses flattery on me, when I go into a store, my first question is, are you working commission? Because I know that dress looks like crap, right? They're trying to get me to buy the dress. So flattery is one thing, as long as you're really good with it, as long as you have practiced and your intentions or your motives are not well known, people don't know that you're trying to get them to do something. And some people are really, really good at that, right? You don't realize it till later that they've totally flattered you into doing something they want. You know, people say flattery will get you nowhere. Flattery will get you everywhere. And don't try it on me because I'll just laugh at you. It's just not going to work. A second type of ingratiation is called opinion similarity, where we tend to like people whose opinions are similar to ours. We kind of see the world in the same way. And so you can manipulate this by agreeing with what someone says. But you don't want to agree with just what everything they say, because then they're going to realize something's weird. Like, you know, you like sushi? I like sushi. You like Dave Matthews? I like Dave Matthews. You like to poke yourself in the eye with a pencil? So do I. And it's weird. And it you know, you get suspicious. So what you have to do is you have to start out disagreeing. But you disagree respectfully. You don't say, hey, you're a jerk. You say, oh, you know, I never really saw Dave Matthews. I don't get it. I don't see, right? As you're having this conversation with your target. Now, this is only going to work with someone that you don't know, right? Because they're going to know how you feel about Dave Matthews if they're your friend. So maybe you're at a local establishment after the coronavirus and you have a target that you want to ask a question of. You know, hey, you want to go out with me? So you're going to try this. Well, you have to know what your deal breakers are, what you're willing to agree to, and what you're not willing to agree to. Like me, I will never agree to go camping. That shit ain't happening, right? So even if it was Brad Pitt, well, maybe not Brad Pitt, Keanu, right? Keanu Reeves there, and he's like, hey, do you like camping? And he's like, I love to go camping. Do you like camping? I'm like, no. It's not something that I would want to do. And again, in the same way, I would never, ever say that I hate the cantina, because I love the cantina. I'm really kind of jonesing for it. I hear they do delivery, but not to Waddington, which is very sad. So you have to know your deal breakers. And then you have to start out by disagreeing respectfully as the conversation goes. It shows that you are an independent thinker. You know your own mind. You have your own ideas. And then as the conversation continues, you can then move toward agreeing with something that you've decided you're willing to agree with, right? So, you know, Dave Matthews. I like to pick on Dave Matthews because one of my students always loved Dave Matthews, and so I have to bust on him, and I'll text him tonight and say, hey, Corey, Dave Matthews. So you might say, at that point, they say they like Dave Matthews, and you're like, oh, yeah, me too. Hey, I got the new MP3. You want to come over and listen? And we know what that means, right? Like you want to get together and study, right? So that's opinion similarity. Doing favors, that's a third tactic of ingratiation. And you're thinking, well, no, I want somebody to do something for me. No, doing a favor for someone actually indicates, I care about you. Your welfare is so important to me, right? And then they like you, and then bam, you got what you want, right? So our neighbors a couple doors down, when we first moved into Waddington, they had a couple of little kids, and we shared a driveway with them. and Jamie was old enough to go to school, and Megan was just a baby. And so it was, of course, this terrible winter, and we didn't have a snowblower, but they did. And so, Mark would go out there every day and he'd snowblow his side of the driveway, and then ours was just like, 8 inches of snow. So one morning we're out there shoveling, and then, the bus comes and, waits for Jamie and then goes off. And then like 2 minutes later, Mary comes running out, and she's got Megan. She's holding Megan. Megan is screaming. She's got some kind of croup or something, and she's got Jamie in his little snowsuit. And so she's standing there, and we looked at her, and we was like, oh, he was supposed to take the bus? And she was like, yeah. And we said, well, the bus left. And we looked at each other. I said, well, I'll tell you what. Why don't we just take Jamie to school? Megan's sick, and we're going that way anyway. And so, fine. So we got the driveway cleared out, and we took Jamie to school, and I walked him into the classroom because he wasn't on the bus. You know what? We never had to shovel our driveway ever again. He would always come out there, and he would snowblow his driveway, and then he would snowblow our driveway, and he's like, oh, you guys are the best neighbors and all that. And it totally worked. And I didn't do it on purpose. Shh, maybe I did. So yeah, doing a favor really does work in terms of getting someone to like you, because we didn't know them before that. We had just moved in. And I put the sort of what it has to be in the lecture narrative, so you got to check that out. And then the last thing, tactic for ingratiation, is self-presentation, where you act in a particular way to get others to like you, to make yourself seem likable, cool, fun, however you want to do that, some positive thing. And again, this is only going to work if you don't know the person, because if you know the person, you're going to be like, what kind of crap are you pulling on me? I know you. That's BS. And so there are a couple of different tactics of self-presentation, but this video is getting too long, so you'll just want to go into the lecture narrative and check them out. So again, it's all manipulative. It's all ways to get someone to like you. That's compliance, right? Getting someone to do what you ask. So this is why you took this class. This is the really super useful part of the lecture. What my husband is looking at me like, what?
There's one other ingratiation technique you need to discuss.
Oh, Lord.
Guerrilla greeting cards.
No, don't listen to him. Forget it. All right.
Guerrilla
Ignore. So check out the lecture notes, and that's my awful coworker, and I violate many human resources laws, because I'm giving him dirty looks now. I'm not supposed to do that. Oh, really? All right. So anyway, and there's my cat. She's sleeping. Okay. So anyway, check out the lecture narrative. I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit. It's getting too long, so I'm out. Bye.